Hey everybody, my name is Ethen Ostroff. Thank you so much for joining us. I am a personal injury lawyer located outside of the Philadelphia area. My goal is to make sure your future personal injury case is protected. I want to make sure that you don't put yourself in a situation where you were hurt, you were not at fault, you didn't understand the situation, and you end up costing yourself a lot of money. If you follow my page and hit that subscribe button, I will make sure that your future personal injury case is protected. So, the next subject for today, the negotiation process for personal injury cases. How does it work? What does it look like? What are the steps? And how do personal injury lawyers make sure that your case is maximized? So before I get there, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and then I will dive into this. So, in terms of how to maximize your value of your case through a negotiation, the most important thing to understand is that a good personal injury lawyer never accepts the first offer. The first offer is usually a offer from the insurance company to see if you mean business. So the way that these insurance companies work is they keep data on law firms, and they know the firms that are going to settle cheap, and they know the firms that will take cases all the way to trial. They are savvy that way. They know the ones that will accept that first offer, and they know the ones that will not. So Rule 101, never accept the first offer from an insurance company. If you are trying to handle your case yourself and you accepted the first offer, guess what? You left them off on a huge discount. It is okay to hire a personal injury lawyer to handle these negotiations because guess what? They will get you a bigger pie to work with. So even though they may be taking a piece of your settlement, a $100,000 settlement where they get 1/3 is better than a $10,000 settlement where you get 100%. So, step one, never accept the first offer. The next step is in a personal injury case, it is not wise to try to settle the case before you're done treating. Let me explain why. When we as a personal injury lawyer look at your case, we need to put a dollar figure on what you have gone through. So if you have not gone through everything, we can't put a dollar figure on it. So for example, you broke your arm, you tore your MCL, and you broke your ankle in a car crash, all right? And let's say that it takes a full year of surgeries, physical therapy to get back to feeling like you were. Until that full year goes by, we don't know exactly how many PT visits you will have. We don't know exactly how many surgeries you will need. So if you get impatient and you force your lawyer to try to settle your case within maybe the first month of getting your file, you will not maximize your case. Because in a negotiation, they need to be able to say, well, my client went through X, Y, Z. If you haven't gone through those things yet, then it's impossible for us to quantify the damages of your case. So the way that works was when you have either reached maximum medical improvement or you have been discharged from treatment for your injuries from that crash or from that slip and fall, that dog bite, whatever. At that point, a law firm will write something called a demand. A demand is where they itemize your medical records and ask for a specific amount of money on your behalf. For example, in that case I just described to you, broken arm, torn MCL, broken ankle. That case, they may ask on your behalf for $200,000. I'm just making this up. Now, there's a couple of factors that come into play in terms of how that negotiation goes. You probably won't get $200,000 if that's what the law firm is asking for, just like we would never accept the first offer. Typically, law firms will ask for at least 1.5 to 2 times what they think your case is valued at so that you can meet in the middle at where they think that the true settlement is. There's a good line that I heard from a lawyer that I work with who said that settlements can feel like lose-lose. You're not quite getting as much as you expect. The insurance company is not happy that they had to pay as much as they did, but a settlement is where you meet in the middle. Now, let's say that we can't settle after that demand process. The next step that we would do is we'd file a lawsuit. In that lawsuit, we would go through a bunch of different steps that are procedural and a little different state by state. Now, if that case does not settle before trial, and you take that case all the way to trial, you could settle the case literally minutes before the jury reads their verdict. But if the jury reads a verdict, let's say that you had a demand of $200,000 and the jury reads $1 million verdict, guess what? You're going to get $1 million. That's the risk that the insurance company takes to let your case go to trial and not settle fairly. So sometimes when you try to settle a case, you give an insurance company an opportunity to get out at a number that is at least agreeable upon the two parties. If they choose not to, then they risk themselves of exposure to a large verdict. So really the negotiation process is about trying to quantify your damages when you are ready to quantify them, basically when you're done treating, and trying to get a number that is agreeable between the two parties where the client leaves at least happy enough that their bills get paid and they leave with a little chunk of change in their pocket. And then the insurance company is at least feeling comfortable to give that amount of money because it limits their exposure at trial. So if you ever have any questions about this, I know this was a little bit more of a complicated subject. It's actually not that complicated when you really think about it. The goal is for us to ask for the right amount of money, and the goal is for the insurance company to pay something that they can kind of swallow. So before I dive into the next video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you ever are going through something where you were hurt and you were not at fault, I am here for you. Just click that link below where we have a link where we can click to call and you can get on the phone with either me or a member of my team right now. Thanks so much. It was nice to put this out there. I know this is a really tricky subject, but I'm here for you if you're going through something. Thanks so much.